Everybody, welcome to the channel. So today we're going to talk about safety gear, some safe practices, being safe while you're carving, and some things to look out for while you're carving. Now this is meant for beginners and maybe even a refresher for you intermediate carvers, those of you that have been in it for a little while, but you know, you're kind of slacking and lacking and not paying attention. So if you're a new carver, give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe. We're going to go over some of the gear, some of the techniques, and a few things to keep an eye out for while you're creating your art. So you're just getting into chainsaw carving, or you're thinking about getting into chainsaw carving, and you think, man, I got to run right out and get a new saw or get a chainsaw so that I can start carving. Hold on, pump the brakes. If all you have is the money for a chainsaw and you don't have any safety gear, then you're starting off backwards, okay? You want to make sure, one, either you can buy safety gear first, or two, you can buy the saw and safety gear at the same time. Now, getting into chainsaw carving, this isn't like a cheap hobby. This is going to cost you money up front if you're going to do it right, and you're going to stay safe and have fun and, you know, all the stuff you want to do with a chainsaw. So first things first, safety gear. Where should we start? What should we do? Well, a good pair of steel toe boots or even steel toe sneakers. I like the boots, keeps the sawdust from being down in my socks, okay? Why steel toe boots? Well, if that chain comes off, or if you drop your saw or a chunk of wood falls on your toes, they're still going to be intact, okay? Two, a pair of chaps. Chainsaw carving chaps or pants. Now, I buy name brand. I don't always buy name brand. We got some Harbor Freight tools over here. But when it comes to safety, and it comes to keeping my legs from being ripped open from a chain that flies off the saw, or a miscut or a misstep and my saw hits me in the leg, I want to know that I've got a name brand pair that have been tested time and time again and are true to what they're going to do, and they're going to keep me safe. Now I run the Steel Woodcutter series chaps. Now you can even get a pair of pants, and the pants will wrap all the way around your leg. They're pants, okay? And they're meant for chainsaw carving. Now chaps have this stuff woven inside, so when your chainsaw hits that, it sucks it up into the sprocket and it chokes it out. That's as long as you're running a gas saw. Battery saws can be a little bit different. There's nothing to choke out. So chaps do work, but you know, you gotta be careful. What else? Ear protection. Your ears are important. You want to hear things, right? Wear ear protection. I see a lot of people carve running gas saws, running power tools, no ear protection ever. Guys, you only get one set of ears. It's not like they grow back, right? Here's just a pair of, what are these? These are Forester earmuffs, okay? I got my own sticker on here, but whatever. I like to run these Isotunes, okay? Isotune Link, so I can listen to music while I'm carving. Two great options. There's many, many others. 3M, again, something that's name brand, tried, true, tested, meant for chainsaw work. Protect your ears. Second, third, fourth, whatever we're on to. A dust mask. Right now I'm trying out, and I've been using these dust masks from Basecamp. RZ masks work just as well too. A lot of that stuff is preference. I got review videos on both brands of these masks. You can always find those here somewhere on the channel. And a pair of work gloves. A pair of work gloves is another great thing to have. Now these are the cheap ones. Okay, well we say buy quality, right? Stay safe. The work gloves you're going to wear out. The work gloves are protecting the back of your hand as chips are flying into your hands as you're cutting and things. Also a little bit of protection from the power tools, grabbing wood, splinters, that kind of stuff, all right? You spend as much money as you want on these. I spend about 10 bucks on these, and I go through about 2 to 3 pair a year. You know, if I bought a $30 pair, I'd have to buy 3 to 4 pair a year. Now we're talking quite a bit more money, right? So I'd rather spend 30 bucks a year on gloves rather than, what, 90, 120, something like that. So there's those. Eye protection. Now, I wear glasses. I just do. They got safety glasses in there and all that kind of stuff. I should have side shields on, but I don't. You guys, protect your eyes. Sawdust is going to fly in your face. As a new carver, you're going to move your saw and manipulate it and use power tools. You're not going to be used to what way those chips come flying off the bar. And it's almost 100% guarantee you're going to get sawdust in your eyes at one point or another. It's just going to happen. Safety goggles, a full mask, something to protect your eyes is the way to go. You really need to protect your eyes, your ears, and that dust mask. It protects your lungs, okay? Because there is a lot of dust created. So safety gear, all right, guys? Acquire safety gear when you acquire your saw, your first saw. All right, the MS-170 is a great starter saw. Cheap, and it gets you in the game. And if you don't like it or you don't want to continue, you spent what? Less than $200 on a saw? I mean, you're going to spend more than $200 to get started. But the cool thing about this, it can be converted into a dime tip bar. You can do a lot of different things with this. You can also get the MS-250 and do a lot of swaps with that. I got videos on those. If you're interested, I'll share the link with you guys. All right, so chainsaw gear. Now, we went over all that in a real quick manner. Let's talk about cuts and making specific cuts with the chainsaw. All right, guys, so here we are. We're looking at an owl in a hollow, right? So it's cut all the way through. This means I had to do plunge cuts. We had to cut straight through with the nose of the bar, okay? Now, when making these cuts, you can deal with a lot of kickback. Kickback is where the saw grabs and can do a couple different things. One, it either grabs right and kicks back at you. It runs up the piece, right back at your face. So get this, you're sitting here, right? You're carving on this, you're putting this thing in, it grabs. Look at where this saw goes, right? The saw can come right back at your face. So it's important to make sure your chain brake's working, all right? This is your chain brake. If you guys are carving, you should know this stuff, but, right, we want to make sure that works as it should. The saw's running, you should be able to click your hand forward and pop the brake. Obviously, the hand that's holding the camera. Otherwise, I'm kind of backwards, but you guys get it, hopefully. Let's talk about those plunge cuts, though. In making through cuts, if you're going through something, right? Now, as you get going through, you might find little pieces of wood that are just barely attached as you're carving. What's going to happen, potentially, and it happens a lot, the chain is going to hit the top of that piece of wood and rip it out. A whole chunk of wood will come flying out, okay? This can happen. It doesn't even have to be a round. It can be any kind of carving. You know, you're making an angle cut and you didn't quite get in all the way, and there's a little piece left, right? You can't break it off. So you take the saw and you go to make another cut and it grabs. When it grabs, that piece of wood, one, is potentially going to fly at you, but two, the saw's going to jump. You need to be ready for it. Paying attention. It's important to have a good grip on your saw. It's important to think about where you are in regards to where your carving in the bar is, okay, guys? So, you know, should we be like this, carving right here with the nose? We're not really paying attention. We're all sloppy with the saw. No. Hold the saw, right? Own it. It's yours. Own that thing. When you're cutting, it's a good idea to have your head to the side. You see where this bar is? Okay, you guys see that? If I'm here, yeah, hopefully the chain brake goes off, but if it doesn't, you're gonna catch that thing right in the face. All right, so we're carving, hand should be in front of the brake, and we're off to the side just a little. Now I understand, you'll see me in videos manipulating the saw and I'm in different positions, but I'm also used to the cut. Do I deal with kickback and pieces coming back and having close calls? Absolutely. This isn't like some super safe sport we're doing here, right? We're creating art and we're using power tools that can be dangerous. So guys, you gotta be safe. You gotta use your head. You gotta think about it. Now I might have some guys argue some of the things that I'm saying, and you know, whatever. This is just my thoughts on it. If you have some safety tips to add, feel free to comment below, because honestly, people getting into carving is fun. It's a lot of fun. Right? You can have a great time with it, but you need to be safe. You need to be prepared. You need to be having the proper gear, and you need to have yourself ready at all times, because anything can happen. You get in here, you get carving, this chain comes off. They come off or they break. This chain comes off. You're full speed. What way is this thing running? Your chain runs this way. So let's say it breaks here. You have this much chain to go where? It's going to come slapping down the saw. It's going to hit you in the leg, chest. You know, sometimes I'm up here carving. Not always the best idea, because if this thing breaks, I got potential to get hit in the chest and the arms, places where I don't have safety gear on. Things to think about, all right? be conscious about what it is that you're doing. I know some of this, oh, do it, you know, do what I say, not as I do, blah, blah, blah. People make that comment. I'm telling you so you know. You have an idea of what to look out for. You know, we don't always do a safety video. I try to always mention wear your safety gear when we're doing tutorials for new people, new beginners and things. But you guys, you got to think about it. You got to be safe. You know, my workspace in here in the tent is very, very small. Open yourself up and give yourself room to work, to move, to get out of the way. You know, have your ground area cleaned up so you're not tripping over things. I understand it's difficult. You get carving pieces full. Stop, clean it up, get it out of the way. Using your torch. You'll see me use the torch under here. Here's a do as I say. Torch in a whole different area. Then you don't have to even worry about a fire, sawdust catching, anything like that. Torch somewhere else, in your driveway, in a, you know, grassy spot, whatever. Just some things to think about, okay? Safety wise, you know, paint. If you paint and then decide to torch, paint's very flammable. If you're in a tent, you're gonna burn that thing down. Be careful, think about it, all right, guys? I hope this video's been helpful. I know it's a little different, something quick, but I did have a subscriber and a viewer talk about kickback and someone they knew got hurt, and I realized I haven't talked about it in a while. There's a lot more to focus on about kickback. That is just the gist. And actually, you know what? We're not done with that. So you're taking your saw and you're plunging in, right? When you plunge in with your saw, okay, if your saw's like this, sometimes that's not good. What I like to try to do is have the saw tilted this way and use the bottom of the nose. You got to use the bottom or the top. So the bottom of the nose, the top. If you use the very tip of the nose, now you're going to run with like it wanting to run up at you, okay? And that happens inside too. If you're not all the way through or you're trying to hone it out, you're dealing with a lot of kickback and pieces coming back at you and things like that. Another very, very important thing. Keep your saw sharp. It is very important to keep this chain sharp. Think and remember about how well it cut the first day you started using it, all right? Like razor blades, and you're just shredding and ripping wood and that thing's cutting like butter. It should always be cutting like butter, okay, guys? A dull chain is an unsafe chain. It will grab and give you more kickback than if it was sharp. If it's sharp, it cuts, it eats, it grabs, it goes. But if it's dull, it jumps and hops and skips and burns the crap out of stuff. Sharpen those chains. I have a sharpening video. If you want to see it, comment below and I will just put it in the comments directly. All right, guys? Hopefully this has been helpful though, for real. Any questions, comment, let me know. If you guys have a good safety tip or suggestion, comment down below. Leave it for everybody else, okay? It's all about helping and learning and, you know, helping you guys grow in your art, helping some of you get started and having fun and being safe. So that's it though for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check out some videos popping up. Give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe, leave me a comment. I'll see you guys later.